Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going back to this classic text adventure game. And if you remember from last time, we set up this scene and we coded this scene in. We kind of described it in some sort of semblance of a format. And we started looking in and started noticing the weaknesses of our data structures that we have here. And if you'll recall, we have our to-dos here. One thing we need to rework is this. So the fact is, when you have an item creator interaction type, the only thing you need is the item in the room. You don't need the variable label. You don't need the locality. You don't need the default state, the default value. You don't need any of those. You only need those for an operator or an observer. And this is the first thing we're going to fix today. And then we're going to look at description maybe and see if we can find a less painful name to use. But actually, since we worked on this yesterday, I've gotten a great idea for how to move forward on this. So, you see we have this operator and observer, and they have almost the same value. You see we got this operation and an observation, right? Operation is a hash map from a value to a value, right? We're just mapping a value to a new value. An observation is a hash map from a value to a string. We're mapping from a value to a description of that value. And I thought of a different state, which is, what would we call it? State machine? For lack of a better word. Mapping from a value to a new value and a string. So here we are. So if we take and combine these two, then there's essentially no difference between an operator and an observer, right? If we want to modify the value, we just pull the new value. If we want to describe the current state, the current value, we just pull the string. And that's what we can do. So I think that's a good way to do it. One thing I'm realizing, though, is that there's a bit of ambiguity here. There's a bit of an issue here in terms of how it's going to look to the user, right? We have the existing value, and then we're going to have a new value followed by the light. Oops, daisy. Well, let's say this is the light switch. The light switch is off. Then we have Now the confusing thing here is this string describes the state we're in currently. But then the state we're going to is here. So the light is off is a 0, right? It's a little bit confusing. So I think if we have this format, it's going to confuse the user a little bit. Yeah. So maybe we need a custom type here just to make it a little bit easier, honestly, for the user to understand. Pub struct cool equals, we need a better name for it, obviously. Oh wait, we don't need an equal sign. Next value is a value. Pub description. It's a string. Now I'm really struggling with this word description here. I feel like we need to get a little more generic. I think we need to rework that throughout. But I think this is a good way to do it. And we just gotta come up with a better name than cool. So let's start up here, right? I'm going to combine these operators and observers into one thing, which would be a state change. Or maybe state observer, state effector, maybe? State effect. Oh, I like this. State effect. It's kind of ambiguous. It could be an effect created by state, or an effect we have where we modify the state, like where we cause an effect in the state, or we have an effect in the UI based on state. State effect, I like that. And it's going to take a state machine. Let's rename this to effect. Okay. Actually, this is going to be the effect, maybe. Effect map. Let's call it that for now. State map even would be interesting. Okay. And then we get rid of these two. And I think we can replace operator and observer with state effect. And so basically, to get the old behavior, let's take a look here. Here we have a light switch. And so to get that behavior, you can see right here, this is what we're doing, right? In state 0, when the light is off, we describe the current state, which this was missing before. We could just call this blank. We could just blank this out, right? Just for demonstration purposes. This gives us the same effect as the operator we had before for the switch. And then so we'd say this is for the switch. And then for the light, we can get the same observer we had before. All we have to do is not modify the state. The light is on. It was off, rather. And then 1, the light is on. And you can see this works because we're not modifying the state. We're just leaving the state alone. So that's cool. Now, when you think of this in terms of state transitions, like what I was originally expecting was you would describe the transition. The switch is on. The switch is off. So now we're describing the new state. It was a 1, now it's a 0. We're describing the new state. But that's not really... That doesn't work so well in terms of... that doesn't match what we had before for observation, where we map from the current state to a description, right? Otherwise, we'd have to map from whichever state transitions to this state. Like, we'd have to find this value. So, I think the easiest way is just like this, where instead of... I was thinking that we would always do both, like always transition the state and always read the description at the same time. But I think it's better if we separate those and isolate those where we can change state independently of yeah. Okay, so you'll see what I mean. So we're going to change it this way. Now this is going to change the format of our, let's see, let's make this bigger. It is going to change the format here in our JSON file. Just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to look for observers and for operators. Well, let's look for anything starting with an O. Okay, we have an observer. Again, this is going to be a state effect. Oh, right. The crucial thing here is we want to move all this stuff into the I type. So let's do that now. State map effect. Okay, so pub struct state effect. I'm pretty sure we're going to need to, yeah. Effect is going to be, should we call it mapping? I guess. Mapping state map. Okay, there's that, but we're also going to move this stuff in here that really only applies to state effects. It doesn't apply to other types of things. There we go. Okay. I probably need to rename this because I got the underscore thing going on, but we're going to leave it alone for now. And then our state effect, instead of taking just a state map, it's going to take state effect. Let's call it state effect description. There we go. We could technically put it right inside here. Maybe that is the right way to do it, honestly. I guess there's no real way to merge those. Okay. We'll do it by hand. It's fine. And we don't need this anymore. Okay, great. Right, these can't be pub because it's already pub. Perfect. Now then, we'll start at the bottom modifying this here. We have an item creator. It's not going to need these anymore. Yeah, we just need to look for all the interactions, I guess. Here we have an operator. So we're going to have this stuff go down inside there. And instead of operator, we're going to call it state effect. There we go. Now here we have another state effect, but we didn't finish. We just got started. So we'll change that. Boom. Very, very simple. And then I think that's it. The only interactions are in rooms B and C, so we're done there. Let's see if it builds. Filled storage is never read. Okay, well, we know why that is. We don't want it to be pub, though. We're going to leave that alone for now. We're not going to fix that right now. All right. What do we call this? Interaction, I think? Yeah. Refactor. To make more sense. Okay, let's give a description here. Combine observer and operator into state effect. Here we go. Combine move fields which only apply to state effects from interaction into state effect. Enum case. That's really all we did. Modify 3-room circus to match. New format, I guess. Restructure to avoid duplicate / superfluous info. Okay, now we're going to talk about this in a little more detail. Variable label, locality, and default state only matter for observer and operator interaction types. In fact, those are almost the same in the first place. Those types are almost the same shape in the first place. All we have to do to combine them is to create the product is to map from the current value to the product of the observation mapping and the operation mapping. In other words, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4 operation X equals x2 let's see. Instead of x2 equals operation x1, and description of x1 equals observation of x1, we have, let's do it this way. X2 description x1 equals state effect x1. There we go. Add state, add effect call it state effect. Add effect struct, which is the product of output of the observation. Replace the operation and observation mappings with the product with a mapping to the product of their outputs. Effect. Okay, I think that pretty well describes it. Okay. I'm really glad that went so quickly. I thought that might take more time. But you know, when you set your mind to something and you have a good idea of what you're doing, it goes quickly. Alrighty then. Yeah, that was not too bad. That was 20 minutes. Okay, so we need to work out the ambiguity between description and description. I'm getting confused, and I'm going to keep getting confused. I keep using the word description, and I think ideally what I need to do is here, I need to change that to not say description, and I need to change the type to not be description, and I need to change this field inside the type to not be description. I need to change those 3 spots. Now, this part's easy. It just needs to match the type name. But these 2 are going to be tricky. However, I did some thinking, a little bit of thinking. What we're really talking about here is a user-facing, this is a UX concern, right? The whole point of having these fields is to interact with the user. We want to allow the user to see what's going on in the world, right? Like, for example, if a user enters a new room, how do we express that to them? Well, by providing a room description, right? And the room description includes a label, like the name of the room, and a longer form description. So yeah. I could just call this text. I think that's good. Just call it text. Sure, we'll make it optional for now. I don't know that we want that to be optional, but whatever. We'll just call it text. Now, what do we call this? Description's pretty describey. It's pretty apt. User UI message. To get some inspiration, let's look in this file here. Here's our label. Okay, do we have a description anywhere here? Oh, come to think of it, this label is wrong. It should be a description. I should have used the word description instead of label. The label probably should be A. So I didn't even use this correctly. Okay. But let's think about it in context, right? Let's say this word, let's say label, room A, and then this is going to be description. Right, this is probably what I should have done to begin with. But what do we call this? We don't want to call it text. Long form? Blurb. Let's call it blurb. Well, I do feel like that would just describe this, right? Blurb would be the longer portion. Yeah. Blurb. Let me look up the word blurb just to see. Maybe I can get some technical language around it. I think it's a real thing. Yeah. A short promotional piece accompanying a creative work. Interesting. Okay. Duck.ai. Let's see if it can help us. Blurb is a technical term to describe a short description, an item. Okay. What are some similar jargon terms? Oopsie daisy. Let's just leave it open-ended here. Copy. Synopsis. Okay. Give me a few more terms as a list. Don't need a definition. Tagline, teaser, abstract. Elevator pitch. Overview. Okay. Yeah, okay, I want to call this overview. I'm going to change this from label to synopsis, I think. We'll just call it label. I think label's more useful. We could call this synopsis, although it kind of implies it's short. More, please. Caption. Ooh. Summary. Brief. Summary, I think, is good. Label and summary. We're going to call it overview, label, and summary. Notice how we're not using the word description anymore. Overview. That's now what this is called. Default description. See, now this, we're going to call this default overview. Yeah. Wait, default. No, default summary. My bad. Overview. And we also have it in this file. Overview. This is going to be summary. Right. It's kind of a hybridization. Effect is kind of a hybridization of the two. Great. Huh. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's make sure it still builds. We got the one warning. Perfect. Rename description, overview, description, description to overview summary. Using the name, the term, description, or both confused me to the point I don't want to use that word anymore. Let's just avoid that word for a while. Maybe we'll get back into the habit of using it for something else. Well, that's 2 things we solved now. I thought that would take a little bit longer, but it looks like it only took about 6 or 7 minutes. Great. Okay, ask AI to implement a parser. Now, I'm kind of dreading this, but this is the next step. This is what we need to do. Now, before I do that, let's make sure. Let's just be doubly sure. Okay, don't have anything in the stash? Good. Our Git tree is clean. Our work tree is clean. Great. Okay, so I want to make a parser. And I'm going to make a new file called parser. It's not Haskell, in fact. It's going to be... yeah, not Haskell. Okay. Okay. Build a parser which can convert 3-room circus into an AST using the world type provided by types. There we go. Any values not provided by the JSON file should be initialized to their default values. And I just realized that I made a mistake probably down here. Yeah, I did. Okay, we need to rework this file a little bit to line up with the interaction. Let's close this for now. And I kind of got a bug here in my 3-room circus here. Now here where I'm using label, I need to go ahead and fix the labels while I'm at it. Okay, so we want to call this a summary, right? And we're going to rename this one as well. Good. That label is correct. Now let's go down to where we use the word summary and then add a label. Room B. Oh yeah, label room C. Nope. Bug 3-room circus. Yeah. Fix labels and summaries. We're not going to go into more detail than that. That's fine. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is look at all interactions. We'll start right here and get them sorted. Now for this one, I don't need both. Well, you know what? Yeah. I don't actually need to change these. What I need to do is tell the parser what to do. For state effects, if the mapping doesn't include an integer value, assume an integer in the value, assume the value matches, or assume the integer matches the key. In other words, 0 a summary should map to 0 should be parsed as 0, 1, oh no, 0, 0 a summary. Also, if the oh, you know what? For this one, I actually want to do both. Wait. Oh, yeah, this is a button. Okay, for this one, I'm going to... Yeah, okay, we're going to leave it like this. Also, if the summary is missing, use the default value. In other words, let's use tick marks so it kind of understands a little bit. Zero, 1 should be parsed the same as 0, 1, boom. Let's see what it does. Interesting. Now, so far I haven't seen it pull in the... Oh yeah, I did pull in interactions. Okay, so it pulled in all the files. Great. Oh, Surday, that's the one. Yeah, yesterday I was trying to remember Surday right before we hung up. Right before we ended the call. Or at the end of the stream. Hung up. like this is a phone call. Anyway, whatever. Here's the change so far. Yeah, I like that change. Yeah, we're not going to mess with this at all, actually. We're going to keep it. Parser.h at least figured out what we're supposed to do. Hey, it might be done at this point. Now I was checking for errors. I really wish I could run cursor with the same setup I have for... Like, I wish I could run it with the same Rust setup I'm using locally so that it could just run cargo to check for errors and have a full... a closed loop testing there. Cargo build, let's see if that works. Okay, we got lots of new stuff we're pulling in, thanks to Surday. Cargo check. Okay. Cargo check passed. Before I do that, I'm going to do this. Just have everything available there. See what it does next. Does it need to do anything else? Maybe. Okay. Interesting. The default values should be default wherever available. Yeah, I don't want to have to think too hard about it. If one of those turns out to be the wrong thing, I'll figure that out later. Oh, great. Adding default implementations. For state, I think that's perfect. Sure, we're not messing with that. Types. Default for inventory, the max capacity should be 0. Let's replace this with 0 and then keep. Here we go. I don't know, maybe 10 is a better answer though, because if you think about it, I really don't care so much about that. The parser we're leaving alone for, okay, most of the changes are to the parser. You know what? Yeah, maybe the max capacity should be 10 by default because, yeah, I think it's misleading to. I think it's misleading if you leave off inventory from a room. I think as an author of one of these files, it'd be weird to me if I leave off the inventory. It means I can't add items to that room, right? By default, I can add 10 items. If I want to add more or less, I can specify that. Okay. Okay. I probably want to have it to where even if you add items, the max capacity is still 10 by default. All right, anyway, we'll figure that out later. Great. At this point, I don't really care. Well, for some reason, my cargo file didn't get added. I don't actually care. Oh, I know why. Okay, well, I don't care about that. Cargo. Come on. Cargo.toml. Yeah. I don't really care if the parser is correct at this moment. AI add parser for 3 room circus. I don't care at this moment if the parser is correct. I need to add some unit tests. Or not unit tests, really, functional tests, to be quite honest with you. Okay. Add a test to parse in 3roomcircus.json and verify that it parses correctly. JSON world. No. I don't want any of this crap. I don't think this has any value. Does it? Well, it did it. I'm going to leave it alone. Where are we using world, though? We have our JSON world. Uh-huh. Well, what's our end result here? We return a world. Okay. Okay, world, dang. This is ridiculous, this parser. Okay. I think what I want to do I kind of want to remove this implementation here. I don't want AI to have access to this when it is creating the tests. Right? To do. Boom. Perfect. Using the parse world function. Do not worry. Any values not provided by, not specified by the JSON should use their default values, aka default. I don't know if it has parens or not. I'm going to leave them off. Okay, so use their default values. I think it does have parens. Anyway. Yes, it does. Okay. Do not make any assumptions of, well, yeah, we're just going to leave that off. If I give it more words, it's just going to confuse it. What? Reviewing the code base to understand the structure. Oh, I thought it said rewriting. I'm like, what? Okay. Stop. This is wrong. Do not implement the parse world function. Also, do not make... Yeah, we're just going to leave it alone. I don't want to... If I tell it to be verbose, yeah, I don't want it to be... Wait, did it? Yeah, okay. It's got that. It's just not showing me what it... Okay, got it. Okay, so what AI is thinking things... Oh, hey, there we go. Adding a test. I wonder where it's going to add the test. Adding a test module to parser.rs. I think that's the wrong place for it. Okay. Fixing the test state and inventory, don't implement partial EQ. Fix... No, stop. I don't want you to fix... No, I don't want you to fix tests. Wait, what are you doing? Hang on. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to do all that. Actually, I'll tell it to keep going. Yeah, I was confused. I was confused. Should have just let it keep going. Yep, okay, it's going to fix all of those. Great. Okay. Move the tests out of the source folder. Use the typical convention for Rust projects. Let's do that first of all. Okay. Great. And I wonder what changes it's going to make to the cargo file. Or will it need to? If I do cargo test at this moment. Okay, it looks like it tries to. That's good. Even though the cargo file wasn't modified. Well, I'm impressed by that. Okay, so it really is by convention, because my cargo file doesn't mention tests at all. So this really is the convention. So it's matching up. That's good. Okay. Right. I'm going to leave this alone, I think. Although I do want to check... Right, that's still on source control. Got it. Okay. Fix all the errors in... I want to close all of these, actually. Close all. Fix all the Rust compile errors and warnings in parser test. I very much don't want it to fix the test. Well, it can't fix the test because there's nothing to test against yet. I want to allow CD. Oh, there's an allow list. Okay, I do want to add CD to the allow list. Cargo test and head. Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, I love that. I can tell it's allowed to use cargo test. It's allowed to use CD. It's allowed to use head. I like that. That's a nice new feature they've added. Yeah, because run everything is just horrible. What things are we adding? CD, cargo test, grep, echo. And those are the out list. There we go. What's missing here? Clippy, cargo Clippy. I don't know why we need to use Clippy. I don't think that's going to be helpful, honestly. Okay. I don't think we need to do this. Let me see. Cargo test. Fix the warnings first. Wait, where are the warnings? Hang on. Okay, if I can use... I thought I could do a thing. Oh, the warnings are in the parser file. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, great. DW. Check out. Don't worry about that. Let's check this out. Okay. And then cargo test. Great. Great. It passes, which is a little bit concerning to me. Having a test that just passes bothers me. Anyway. I don't know why those were removed from main. Let's undo that change. Source lib. What's this source lib thing? Oh, wait a minute. That's interesting. Main lib. I think that's fair enough. Lib main. Right now, okay. Keep. Good. I think we're done with that. Rid of AI for now. I think we're done. Tests. Source lib. I think the point of that was so we can import properly. And I don't really need that there. Add tests for the parser. Now let's look at this test. Okay. Okay. What's expect do? No definition found. That's exciting. Read the string. I want to know what that does. Okay, world, parse world. We're going to search stuff on the world. We're going to search stuff on items. Okay. Yep. Okay. That's, yeah, we're going to leave it alone. I don't think we need to mess with this right now. Although this test is really going to frustrate us when we go to make changes to things. I think that's a good place. Now, let's take a look at where we are in the grand scheme of things. Done? And we did that. Great. Our to-do list is now empty. Yay! Bam! Now then. Okay. Define the world. We did that. Create a functional test. Well, yes, we created that. And we got the import and export working. And then we implement all the functionality of the simple story. Now that is step 4. We have not started that. Man, we're not going to... we can start that, but we're not going to make much progress today, I think. Actually, you know, it might not be that hard. It might be actually deceptively easy. let's try this. Let JSON equal fs read to string games 3 room circus.json. Now where's fs? Oh, use standard fs. Okay. Yeah, the expect makes sense too. I'm kind of getting it. Okay. Let world equal parse world JSON string ampersand. Oh. Now I know. Now I know where AI came up with a very clever name right there. Okay, we have a world. Now we don't need to assert anything about it. We are going to add a player though. World.play. It's going to be a mutable world, matter of fact. Mutable world. World.players. Do I not have access to stuff? Types. Right. World.players dot insert. What's wrong here? Oh, wait a minute. Parse world is okay. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Expect failed to parse world. I need to look more into this expect thing. It looks kind of cool. Okay, now let's try again. What's the problem here? Helps if I spell it correctly. Dot insert 0, and we need a new player. ID 0, name player 1. Very fancy name. Inventory, default, and then location. World.spawn. I probably need a world.spawn at function. Impl world pub function spawn new player, and the player's name is going to be passed in. And really that's it. Let okay. Let player equal, come on now. Player equal ID equals 0. ID, name, inventory, default, location, world. Oh yeah, it's got to have self. And mute self, self.spawn. Okay. Cannot find a fault in the scope. Well, let's find it. Maybe it's inventory default? Oh, that works anyway. Okay, now I need to fix the ID, but yeah. We're gonna have like a get next ID thing. Get next ID from map hash map ID to T. And it's going to return ID. Here we go. Okay. May as well make this generic. Get next ID from world.players. Yes. Oh, self.players, sorry. Problem being, cannot move out of players. Okay, well, we just need a reference to it. Fair enough that you can't do that. Okay, everything seems fine. Now, for this, what we need to do is just check. Let mute next ID equals 0. Let existing equal map.keys. I'm going to look up the documentation because we don't have autocomplete working right now. Keys. It returns, oh yeah, an iterator. Okay, arbitrary order. I don't want to consume. Map.keys.sort. While next ID in existing, this is not efficient code. To vec. Does that work? As vec, maybe. Vec new from okay. Huh. Okay. Can we skip this somehow? There we go. Yeah, let's just do it in line. Change map.keys into a vec. I think the problem is probably mutability. Yep, that's what it is. Check if next ID is in existing. I'm using the wrong syntax here. There we go. What if I do map.keys? Oh geez, that sucks. Next ID. Next ID plus plus. Plus equals 1. And then we return next ID. What's the problem here? What's the problem here? Oh, geez. Okay. Map.keys .cloned .collect. Does that work? No. Okay. Contains. Yeah, okay, I understand why I can't do that. Okay. Great. This should just work. I don't care about cloning right now. It's not a performance concern at the moment. Okay. Now. I mean, it's no more of a performance concern than it would be in Python, so. There you go. So we get our next ID, we assign it to the player, and then world.players.insert player.id player. And again, this should be self. Perfect. Now we don't need all this crap here. World.spawn new player player 1. Boom. Yeah. Yeah, we have to do that. Okay. All right. Let's do S and then S into string, and then do name is name.into. Oh, but this doesn't work because that works. Okay, great. I like that better. I like that way better. Okay. Okay, so we have our player, we spawn them. Right, at this point, we need to start accepting user input. But yeah. At some point, we want to track where the player's been, but for now, I just want to use all the features. Right, yeah, so I want to keep this nice and simple. We have our world. Let's go to a room, actually. Okay. While true. Main REPL loop, basically. Read eval print loop. Okay, so while true, we're going to print out the room description of where the player is. And actually, I just realized we want to have a reference to the player. Player 1. Yeah, player 1. Let's just say player equals reference to world.players get 0 dot unwrap. Does that work? Is get a thing? He's not showing me the correct arguments, which is frustrating. Oh, I need a reference to it. Okay, well, we can do that. Perfect. Now this is of an unknown type. Well, that's exciting. Okay, great. Now I know what it is. While true, let loc equal player dot location. I assume when this changes, we'll see updates. I don't even know. I assume so, because it's a pointer, right? I guess. But this is a U32 that we're copying. I want to have a reference to it. I want to see the changed value. I guess we're making the changes here, though. Anyway, we'll see. So, print room loc. Okay. And then, yeah, we're just going to have everything inside there, and then we're going to get user command. Let command equals get user command. And then well, read eval print. Yeah, okay. So struct, no, enum user command is going to be exit, or actually just call it quit. Go direction is a string. Actually, we'll just call it exit, right? Then we're going to have what take item is a string. It's a label of the item. Drop item is a string. Use, and it's not going to be an item in this time. It's going to be, what do you call that when a room interaction? A string. I think that's all that I can do right there. Okay. This feels pretty good. This feels pretty good. If, wait. Match command. Command, by the way, is of type user command. Fill match arms, quit. We're going to do break. Will that break out of just this, though? Exit the program. Undo. I don't think it understood what I was talking about, but whatever. Okay. We're going to assume all the parsing is correct at this point. Let exit equal let room equal world.rooms.get the one we're in, location. Unwrap for now. Oops, there's undo. Unwrap. Room dot, and this of course is going to be of type room. Room dot exits dot if room.exits oops daisy dot contains, is that what I was doing? It was over here. Geez, I wanted this to be quick. I think it's still relatively quick, but this is taking some time. Contains, yep. Is it contains here? Contains key. There we go. Contains key. Pretty sure exits is also here. This is the world. This is the room. Exits is a hash map. Okay. From string to room ID. If it contains key, exit. If it does not contain the key, we're going to say print invalid exit, boom, exit. Print line, there we go. And then we're going to continue. I have a feeling this break is just going to break us out of the match, to be quite honest with you. Replace this break statement with something which ends the program. Let's do that. That's fine. Contains key exit. Consider borrowing. Borrowing sounds lovely. Okay. Dot get exit, and we already know it's there because we checked. Oh, I just realized something. Let sum exit. Instead of unwrapping, let's do an else. Else. And then I can just put this here. Boom. Because the old value of exit still applies, at this point, it's a string, right? Because we haven't successfully done the thing. Okay. Oh, we should use ampersand there. Probably. What's wrong here? Found room, expected ampersand room. That's fine with me, actually. Okay. Great. Okay, if the go works, then we're going to, I think we break at this point. We can continue, though. I understand what continue means, at least. Okay, so we need to manipulate the world, actually. The player's going to be mutable. Loc is not going to be mutable. We're just not going to do that. I don't want to think about it. Is why? Location equals exit. Because when you look at room exits, it's a room ID. Consider dereferencing. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's what the go command is going to do. Boy, man, the take command sounds pretty complicated. We'll have AI generate. Oh wait, okay. Fill in this. Grab a line of input from the user trim extra spaces and figure out what they want. Use user command as a guide to the command syntax is one command followed by one command word followed by one possibly followed by one item description word. Okay, I'm not even going to check this. If it works, it works. Great. Prompt user again. Interesting. Okay, yeah, that works for me. But yeah, we do need to think about it. Option, it may not work, right? It may fail for whatever reason. We shouldn't be printing in this case. None is the answer in that case. Let command is some command. Oops. Else continue. Print line invalid command given. What's the problem here? Mismatch types. Expected user command found option. Okay, we're not going to mess with this. Yeah, there we go. There was our issue. Okay, great. What's the problem here? Oh, yeah. Wrap return value in sum where appropriate. Should have thought about option to begin with. Okay. I kind of want to do the print room command myself. Yeah, I'll tell AI to do it. Implement the print room command. It should print out the room overview, followed by the exits, list of exits, followed by then the inventory, then the interaction overviews. Does that even make sense to say? Interaction overviews. Great, yes, it does. Great. Excuse me. Print out the room overview followed by the list of exits in the inventory, then the interaction overviews. Interactions. Use the overview field of any type which has them. Otherwise, look for a summary or description field. There we go. Keep types and interaction. I think we need to pull those all in. Types star and then interaction star. Here we go. Cannot return value referencing. Okay. Yeah. Oh, the annotation's missing. World. What in the world? Why does it have a function inside of a function? Okay, that was just weird. Print out the room overview. Do I have to? You know what? I'm just going to use a chat so I have the history. Implement print room function. Print the room overview. List of exit. List of exits. Each inventory item. And finally, the interactions. Use the overview or summary field for any type which has it. Hopefully it'll do something sane this time. Now what's wrong here? Cannot assign to player location which is behind a reference. Okay. It was supposed to be mutable. Remove mute. Do I need to say mute right there? I think I do. But I need to wait about that until it's done. Unfortunately, I can't work on the file while it's working on it. It'll get confusing. Okay. Let's keep it for now. Does it have errors? 7 errors apparently. Okay. Let's make this mutable then. What's wrong here? Cannot borrow data as mutable. Why not? Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Expected mutable reference to player found. Huh? Do I have to do a get mute? Get mute. That's what I need. Perfect. Cannot borrow world as immutable because it is also borrowed as mutable. Why not? Where's the other borrow? Mutable borrow occurs here and is used there. 1335. 36. I don't understand why I can't borrow it immutably here and then borrow it mutably there. Like, that doesn't... It seems like that should sequence fine. Can I borrow it mutably in both places? Cannot borrow mutably more than once at a time. Interesting. I'm really confused how that fails, to be perfectly honest with you. The print room should be finished by the time we get to here, so what's the problem? I mean, .ca alone, I guess. Does that work? I mean, I could, Okay. Well, we'll have to figure that one out. Cannot assign to player.location because it's borrowed. Player.location is assigned here, but it was already borrowed. I want to do refs, honestly. Let's try this. Let player... Oh, gosh. Can I do mute ref? Okay, well, let's remove mute for now. Ref player. Consider changing this to be a mutable reference. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So let that be a ref as well. Okay. Great. Cannot borrow is immutable because also borrowed is mutable. $13.26. Right. I guess because we're maintaining the mutable borrow, we can't maintain an immutable borrow at the same time. And the thing is, you know what? To be quite honest with you, we could use an immutable reference here. Let's see. Let static world equal world.clone. It's not going to work. It's going to give me an error. Okay. Plus. Implement clone for the world type. Let me just double check what I've got in progress here. Yeah, I think we're good. Hopefully it's just going to derive all those. Yeah, looks like we're going to derive things. That's good. All these little details. No, derive's not used in the source anywhere, I promise you. Everything needs to derive clone. And interactions, we're making the same kind of change. Okay, compilation errors, well, that's cool. No linter errors, that's good. I'd like to go ahead and accept all. Skip. Okay. Keep all changes. Great. Oh, get rid of that. No. That should be fine. Great. Now, what are we having going on here? Cannot assign to player.location because it's borrowed. It's assigned here, but it was already borrowed. Okay, well, what if I do this then? Okay, let's try ref mute and say loc equals star exit. Loc equals exit. Clone. Oh, we can't do that. Okay. This is interesting because we can't mutate that. Why not? Expected mutable reference found reference. It says it's mutable here. Oh, you know what? I don't want to mutate that reference though. Actually, no. What I want to do is mutate this to be that. There we go. I want to change the thing loc. Yeah, I want to change the pointer at loc to point to that. Yeah, I don't want to reassign loc. I don't want a new pointer in loc. I want to change what it points to. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. Implement the take command so that the item with the label item gets transferred from the room inventory into the player's inventory. Okay, we're going to have to copy that and redo it. Or we'll probably need that again. I'm not liking all the comments, but okay. Find the current room, but don't we already have that? Oh, okay, we have it. Yep, fine. Find the item ID in the room's inventory by label. Didn't realize it was so hard to find. Maybe I should change that to a hash map. Okay, we're copying it, which is interesting. Great. Yep, we continue in that case. Check the player's capacity, which we don't need to do. We don't need to check capacity. Oh, wait, we do because there's no... Okay, got it. We didn't implement this. Yeah, okay. Cool, so we're just going to leave that as is. Yep. Okay. Implement drop to transfer something from the player's inventory to the room's inventory. It should be the dual of take. Take above. All right, we're getting the room. We're finding the thing in the player inventory. Okay, check the room capacity. The room can't hold any more items. I love it. Okay. Shouldn't happen since we just found the item above. Okay, whatever. Okay. Oh, we find it. Okay, whatever. Anyway. Candidate item. Interesting. It's finding it twice. So we're not going to mess with all that. Okay. Now, how do we interact with something? Right. I do need to implement something here. Right here probably. And I don't think I can't trust AI to get this right. So pub function, we're gonna do it ourselves. Observe state. Wait, we'll just say observe. And self. And we're gonna return reference to a string. And then it's going to be summary, self.summary. Wait, this doesn't work actually. Where's state map used? Right here. Oh, interesting. We can't do that because we don't have whatever. Okay. Right. Right, okay. I need a separate type for this. Pull these fields into a separate effect description struct. Keep there we go, effect description. We don't need that anymore. We can't implement blah, that doesn't make any sense. Wait, they don't exist. It doesn't exist. Well, that doesn't help me in any way. What happened? Pull these fields into a new effect description struct. Where is that struct? Oh, we can't do that in line. This is so annoying. When you do it in line, it only can make code changes in a single spot. It really frustrates me. Pull the selected fields into a new state effect struct. Come on, do the thing. And now it's reading a bajillion files it doesn't need to, just to do the thing. It's not constructed in the parser, so what the heck are we talking about? Oh, do we have to modify the parser as well? I completely forgot about that. Okay. Sure. Keep the ones in this file. I don't care about it really. If the parser still works, then great. Undo. Where is state effect? There it is. Okay. Bit weird that it put this above the other type. I'm going to move it. Okay. You know, we need a little bit more than this, actually. Yeah. We need like a locality description or something like that. Pub struct locality, descriptor, world, and it's a reference to a world. Oh, it needs to be mutable, actually. Interesting. We need a reference to a world, and sometimes it needs to be mutable. Reference to self, reference to world, reference to room. Okay. First, we got to grab the correct value. Oh, we should probably call this world and room. Let's stop whatever you're doing. I don't know what it's up to. Okay, so get value, and we're going to take all the same arguments. Value. We can clone it if we want to. You can just get a reference to it, though. That's fine. Okay. So, which value are we getting? Self is a state effect. Oh, yeah, we have all the information. Okay, so. Okay. Let state equal if match, actually match self.locality, fill match arms, world.state, right? Yes. Room.state. Perfect. So we have our state now. I don't know why it's not a reference, but whatevs. We'll get there. I don't know why there's space there. Okay, from that point, if was state a vec? I can't remember. State is a vec, yes. Honestly, it should probably be a hash map. Variable has a label. Yeah, label's a string. Okay, so state hash map. I wonder how much this is going to mess up. String to variable. Okay, vec default doesn't work, but hash map default will work. If state.contains key self.variable label the value we're going to provide is state.get yeah. Let some value equal state.get variable label. Need a reference to it, self.variable label. Actually, we probably already have a reference. Else, the value we're going to return is self.default value, default state. Great. Simple enough, right? What is state? Oh, state dot, oops. State.state. Confusing enough. Self.variable label. And we need a reference to it, yep. All right. Problem is, oh yeah, and then we're going to return value. Wait, are we getting... I think we just return a value, right? I think this is a reference already. Let's see. It says it implicitly returns nothing as its body has no tail or return expression. Implicitly returns unit. No tail or return expression. Oh, it'd help if I return that value. And the problem is, expected a reference. Oh! Variable dot value. And now the problem is, I think this should be good. Well, this is a problem. I can't even clone it. I could just return value. I think this is going to work. We'll return value. We may have to clone it. Problem being, clone. Oh, okay. Okay. Consider borrowing here. Oh, in other words, we got past that error. We're having new errors. This is an unrelated error. Okay, that was what was confusing me. Observe. Let value equal get value. Wait. Self.get value. World room. Okay. And then I want to do self.mapping .get value. Okay. We can't do an assert here because it's not a programming error if the value's not there. It's not an error in my code if the value's not there. Let state mapping. Oh man, this is getting complicated. State map. It's a hash map from value to effect. An effect contains the next value and the summary. Where were we modifying last? Let sum next value equal that, else, well, we're returning a description here, so this is good. Return. Oh yeah, when we're observing, we're returning a string. But I can't make up my own string in this case. Have to copy. Okay. Have to copy because of this error message here. Return. Let's just say is in an invalid state. Yeah, that's simple enough. Format, boom. And then we're going to say self.variable label. Right? It's in some kind of state that's not described. Indescribable. Will be a little bit funnier. A reference to the value. Great. It's not called next value. It's called effect. Next value and summary. There we go. Summary. Probably need to clone it. Great. And the problem here is I don't care about next value. If you don't care about missing fields, you can ignore it explicitly. Or ignore missing fields with this. Okay. Yeah, that works for me, because we just want the summary. That's exactly what we mean by that. Problem here, duplicate definition with name observe. Oh. Well, that's easy to fix. Perfect! Now we gotta do the hard part. Pub function update, I guess. No, we'll call it operate. No, we're gonna call it update. For that matter, let's call it modify. And mute self. No, we're not mutating self actually. And mute, wait, world and mute world. Room, mute room. We're not returning a string or anything, yes. Yeah. We might want to modify and observe, but yeah, let value equal self.getValue. Perfect. Next value. Oh, I need the else. Now, if we get into an invalid state, what we want to do is reset to a known good state. Reset to any known good state. State is bad, reset to any known good state. And we probably should do a print line or something to say, yeah. Right, it does not diverge. It's supposed to diverge. I love how it's like, it doesn't diverge, it needs to. We need to return something, basically. Right, I guess I need a self.set value. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Self.set value. World room. Yeah, world and room. And we're going to set it to... Oh, okay. Set default value. We're going to pass in world and room. And then return. Okay. Self.set value. World room. Did we get the mapping anywhere? I think we got it in here. Yeah. Okay, we'll just do this. We need to copy this code. I don't see any reason to do it somewhere else. Okay, some variable. Excuse me. We might, yeah. Okay, and we need an else. If state dot state dot let state equals state dot state. Actually, no, that's not good enough. Mute state mutable reference. Okay. If not state dot contains key. Oh man, we got kind of deep into this. I thought this was going to be short. It's not. Oh my goodness. Man, we're so close though. Oh man, we're so close. We do have to get this working. Oh man. I feel like I haven't done a very good job of describing what I'm doing because I kept thinking it was going to be nice and quick. What we need to do here is we need to be able to modify and observe things. Oh, this is observe. We don't need to change something here. Yeah, we don't need to change observe. We need to get rid of that. Wait, all these modifications though belong here. They belong here. Okay, so boom, boom. We got our observe function working. We're going to leave that alone for now. Oh. Get rid of that. There we go. Goodbye observe. Now. Yeah, if the state contains the key, we're good. What we want to do is, if it doesn't contain the key, self.variable label, then we want to create it. State.insert. Is there like an insert if not exists or something like that? Insert, we have remove, which is not what we want. Try insert. Oh, if the map already had this key present, nothing is updated, an error containing the occupied entry and value is returned. Oh, this is perfect. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, we have the value. We need to get the new value. That's the first thing we need to do. We have the value. Current value. Okay, we just need to get next value. Let's start with that. Now then, we get the next value. If there is, okay, we're going to need to handle the case where there is no next value effectively. Let's go to get here real quick. There's a better way to handle this. Get value. Option. Unwrap or maybe? No. Unwrap or. Yeah, default value. Great. Man, these names in Rust are so hard to understand and memorize. Okay. Self.mapping. Oh, there isn't a default. Oh, hang on. Oh man, this is just... Map or. Return the provided default result if none, or applies a function to the contained value. That's what we want. Okay, let's try this again. Self.mapping.get current value .map or default value comes first. Okay, the default value is going to be let default value equal self.mapping.get. What do we want to get? We're going to need this again. Oops, we're going to need this stuff again. So let's bring that up over here just in case. I want to get like quote unquote the first one. I guess I'll just get values, the first value, right? Grab the first value from the list. Okay, maybe that works. I don't know. Default value, unknown type for now. Okay. Yeah. Default value, we don't really care which one it is. We're just going to put it in there. We're not even going to give a message here. Right. Current value, we want to update it to, right. We take an effect, and we give e.next value. Effect, next value. Let next value equal this stuff. Great. Okay, we're not going to give an error message in this case. If the state contains the key, okay, we're going to create a variable . Well, let's try insert. Let's use try insert. So we have the correct state, I think. State.try insert. We do need that reference, actually. Let result equal state.try insert a new I don't know. No, let's do this. Get mute. Wait, I got an idea. State.try insert. Now the state holds, of course we don't have a good type here. World.state.unknown. Lovely. State is right here. It's a hash map of variables. Man, I wish I could see more of this. Okay, let's do split here. On the bottom, we need to see variable. On the top, we need to see this fun stuff. So first thing we're going to do is try to insert into the state. We want to insert a new variable. Okay. The label is self.variable label. And the value is next value. What's wrong here? Oh, right. We need to provide, yeah. Self.variable label, boom. Expected types, mismatched types. Expected I32 found an option effect. Well, this should be, oh. Cannot find E in the scope. What's the problem here? Why are we expecting an effect? Default value is going to be value. Also, this should be a value. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff for now. Consider dereferencing. It's going to work. It's going to fail, right? Oh, it doesn't fail. Great. Now, the problem here is it's unstable. Well, that makes me sad. Okay. If state.contains key self.variable label, boom, then we do this code. Else let's take this stuff, boom. Insert. Great. State.get self.variable label dot unwrap. We need to get mute. Let var equal that. Ampersand, and we need an ampersand here probably. There we go. Var dot, no, it needs to be mutable. Var dot value equals next value. This was way more complicated than I was hoping for, man. This doesn't work because expected I32 self.mapping.values. Oh. Dot next value. Does that work? It doesn't because, oh, it's an option. Okay, well, we have to unwrap it. This could fail, but I don't really care at this moment in time. I just want to get something working. Cannot borrow state as mutable. Well, it needs to be mutable. It's behind an ant reference. Oh, that's the problem. Actually, let's do this. Let's just not do any of that. Okay, what's going on here? Ref mute, can we do that? No. Uh-huh. Great. Great. Okay, boom, and then, oh. Never mind. We have to clone it, I guess. What's going on here? Yep, that's what we got to do. That's fine. Var doesn't need to be mute. I don't know why. I mean, we're literally mutating it, but it doesn't have to be mute. I'm not going to figure that one out. Yeah, whatever. I think we're good on that, and now we just need to go back to main and get that working. However, I've got a lot of things to commit at this point. Sure. And we're going to ignore the clone stuff for now. Actually, we're not. We're going to add clone to everything. Clone, clone, clone. Nope. Split, edit. This is a completely new type, maybe? Yes, it is. That's all new. We're just going to have this like that. Nope. Nope. Yes, yes. Oh, hello. Nope. No, I thought that was that. Okay, now I'm confused. We're going to remove the impl here for now. We don't want to add that at the moment. Oh, that was main. Okay. Add clone instances, trait, impls for our world type. Now what's left? Yeah. What I need to do is not make that change. Split. State effect. Split. Edit. Delete all of that. No. Maybe? We're not making that change at the moment. Oopsie daisy. Oh, I lost. Okay, I lost I lost all my work there. Okay, so yes, edit, just the top. No, no, quit. Keep. Good. Cargo build. Does it build like this? Of course it doesn't. Yeah, okay. Fix the build errors. There we go. We'll just do that. Whoopsie daisy, missed a step. What's going on here? I added those to the list before and it didn't work. Is the allow list different for every single one of these? Oh, well, I'll have to figure that out later. Okay, it's asking me to keep changes, but I'm not seeing the changes. Well, let's see. It did make some changes. Cargo build. You know what? That might have been the only. Yeah, that might have been the only issue. Okay. Move state effect. Oh, factor out state effect. Interaction type. State effect. Factor out state effect struct. We'll need an impl for this. So we need to separate it. Alright, I feel like we got the first 90% done. We just need to do the remaining 90% and we'll be good to go. Interestingly, we didn't have a conflict there. Oh, we did have a conflict. Okay. Let's just ignore it, though, for now. Let's go to interaction. There is a conflict. Whoa, hello. Incoming? And then, where was the conflict? I think the issue was we had stuff added twice. Yeah. It's fine. Okay. Interaction. Not yet. Split. No. Yes. We want this hash map here. Quit. Keep. Here we go. This is going to fail the build, right? Oh, good. It doesn't. Tweak. Well, since it doesn't fail the build, I don't see any reason to do it separately. Let's see about building it. It builds, great. Add observer. Observe, modify, impulse for methods. State effect. Great. Okay. Now in our main, we want to, it's not a variable. What are you talking about? Okay, that's confusing. Probably is just out of date, just out of sync. Okay, take, drop for use. Okay. What I really need to do is have like a trigger method for an interaction and just call that trigger method. I think that's the right way to do it. So we have the state effects stuff handled. We need a copy of the world in the room. Potentially they need to be modifiable. So that's what we need to keep in mind when we're implementing this. Impl interaction. I still don't know what to call it in the UI. So I think I'll just call it trigger here. Trigger and self. We don't modify self, I don't believe. And mute world. Oh wait. World. Room is and mute room. And we don't return anything. Yeah. Yeah. We don't return anything. Okay, so match self.itype. Fill arms. So for item creator, we're creating an item in a particular room. Okay. I think I honestly need to update the world to be, yeah, anyway, whatever. You know, yeah. Before I bother with this, I probably need to just go ahead and update this stuff as I know I need to make it easier to interact with. Oh, I already did that. Good. Hash maps. Hash maps all around. Great. Okay, we'll get rid of main. Main's getting annoying. Okay, what's this all about? Get out of here. Get out of here. Alright, now why are we having trouble here? Cannot move. Oh, okay. Oh, state effect doesn't implement copy. Well, it doesn't need to, probably. Can we do that? Or can we do maybe ref? It's not allowed. Okay, we'll do that instead. Okay. Let item equal template equal world.items dot get item some item template else return. Very simple. Okay, that works. Cool. Let some room equal world.rooms.get room. Else return. We don't need to worry about it. If it fails, it fails. That's fine. Room.inventory.storage.push. Yeah. Item. Yeah, we just make sure this exists, I guess. It's fine. We don't need to rewrite the code. We can, in fact, just do that. Great. Consider dereferencing the borrow. Okay. It probably cannot borrow as mutable. Oh. Mute room. Get mutable. Oh, hang on. Now it says mute room isn't needed, right? Variable does not need to be mutable. On by the okay, remove this mute. I don't know why it doesn't have to be mutable. I guess because mute's in the type somehow? I don't really know. Anyway, whatever. If room.inventory let ref mute storage equal room.inventory.storage storage.len. If storage.len is greater than or equal to room.inventory.max capacity, return. Don't need to do anything else. And we can remove those parens because we always, yeah, we'll like. Okay, great. Here we go. Use contains key instead. Here we go. Don't know why we're messing with a parser right now. Whoa, why are we messing with a parser? Okay, that was weird. I think I didn't hit, I think what happened was I didn't hit a keep on this. I just kept moving forward, but we should be fine. Apparently we're not using this. Oh yeah, to do. It's a to do item. Right, well if we have a state effect, does this give me all the things? I think it might. Don't remember. It's either all or none. Well, let's try it. I guarantee you we'll need a split screen for this. I don't know why this top one went crazy. Let's go to the definition. Actually, I probably just need the implementation, right? Observe, modify, get value. Huh. You know, I kind of need to know if we're observing or not, what our plan is here. Because I don't actually know. But for trigger, let's just say we're modifying it. Let's just say this is a modification. So, that's fine. s.modify, and we passed in the world, and mute world, and mute room. It's going to complain about something. Cannot borrow world as mutable as it is not declared mutable. Well, it definitely is. That works. Great. Jeez. Okay. I love how this... Okay, this is implicitly modifiable too. Interesting. Wait. Oh, we're not modifying S. Right, we're modifying the world of the room. Okay, great. There's probably a better way to handle typing and stuff, but here we go. This works fine. And then we need... Obviously, based on this discussion we just had, we need a separate... a separate command, pub function inspect self world room match self.itype just have it fill match arms, it'll be fine. Okay, let's just call this s dot observe yes. Okay. Now for the item creator, we want to return the interaction. Actually, for anything except a state effect, we want to return the default thing. Self.overview.summary. Let's add a summarize function. Pub function summarize and self string, and all it's going to do is call self.summary. Come on. Or unwrap or yeah. Default summary. Perfect. Problem? Cannot move out of it. Oh. Clone. Works for me. I don't mind cloning the option. This will be fine. Just go back to where we were. Oh, hello. We're in the wrong spot. Okay, S dot. Suppose I could do this, right? Perfect. Self.overview.summarize. Great. Perfect. Okay. And honestly, there again, we don't need the block. Okay, great. So we have inspector trigger. Okay, so I think I need. Okay. Great. We can modify main to get it working, I think. Let's actually go ahead and compile things. We want to add this. Where's that from? Keep. Aha! Method not found in overview. Think I know why. Nope. Summarize. There it is. Build. Perfect. Add interaction and pull. Okay, now let's look at main. We're going to do this using AI. Replace the use command with trigger and inspect commands. Okay. We'll let it do its thing. Oh, and it went ahead and implemented it for me. Great. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Interactions is a vec. I'm thinking interactions should probably be a hash map. Yeah, I think everywhere I used vec was basically wrong. Just about. Yeah, I want this to be a hash map too. Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Jesus, using unsafe code blocks. Stop. Instead of unsafe code blocks, use ref mute. Hopefully you can figure that out. But honestly, I didn't ask it to implement this. You know, I'm probably fine as is with all this other stuff. But yeah, unsafe just doesn't cut it. I'm not having AI write unsafe code. No. Okay, we're going to replace this with to do. Okay, and then we're going to also do the same here. Keep. Yes, yes. Why is the interaction .toString? That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Huh. Command argument. Oh, it's an argument. Okay. Well, this should be none, obviously. Variable none. Okay, whatever. That's not a variable. What if I try to fix it? No, I mean, I don't want it to be a variable. I want it to be literally none. Why doesn't it support that? Oh, well, whatever. Okay. Ignore error instead of unwrapping. Whoa. That's perfect, because I don't care if it fails. If a flush fails, fine. As long as the user can... Like, if the flush gives an error message every time, but the user still gives me input, I'm happy with it. Okay. Okay. I don't need to fix this, though. Okay. I mean, I did find a way to reference the room up here, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, hello. No. What just happened? Okay. So for this, all I need to do is get down there and do the thing. All right. Okay. Inspect. Excuse me. Well, we have an interaction. It's going to be pulled from the room. Right. Find the interaction in the room which has the given label, I think. Overview. Yes, given label. I think you'll figure it out. Okay, so the world.rooms.get needs to match world.rooms.getMute. I don't think we're mutating it, though. And we're unwrapping here, and I'm happy to keep the same. Why not use loc? There. Okay, I don't know why you need to give me that information. Interaction object opt. What? Fine. Why are we getting the description here? I don't want the description. Right. It's a sum, right? Let's just call this interaction. And let's call that interaction 2. I don't know how to interact with. There we go. Plain and simple. Now, why did this not use indentation? Oh. Right, we need the original interaction description. That fixes it. Great. What's the problem here? Oh wait, not if. Let. Return. This just has to diverge. It's fine. Great. Interact.trigger, right? Interact. Inspect world room. It's going to give me an error message of some kind. Consider borrowing here. Let's just follow what we get. Cannot borrow as immutable. I really need a copy of it, I guess. Let static world equals world.clone. What's happening here? Cannot borrow world is immutable. Same problem. Huh. Can I just have an ampersand too? Does that work? I don't understand that. It's going to take time to get it. Oh my goodness. We're so close. So close. Oh my goodness. You know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is say to do, and it's going to fail. Right? And then let's comment out this bad code. Okay, well, that doesn't help me at all. Comment out this bad code. We're just going to not have those available. And let's see if this works or not. Probably should have done this sooner. Does it build? Barely. Run. Okay, so if we look at the bottom, we have a square room with a large A painted on this concrete floor. There's an exit to the south. Exit south, items, an ordinary stapler. I like this. Okay. What if we take stapler? You take the stapler. Okay. The item is still there. That's suspicious. That's a problem right there. All right, yeah. To do. REPL. Oh, wait. REPL. Let's just see what we have to do. Taking an item should delete it from the room. I think I know why, though, this is happening. It's because we're using the static world, aren't we? I bet you that's what's going on. When we do a print... Yeah, we're using the static world. This is the problem. Okay, we got to figure out how... Static room. This is probably the situation that AI was trying to fix. And it's like, I don't know what's going on here. I honestly don't understand what's wrong with all this. Why it's not working. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. We're not modifying the room in this case, are we? Yeah, we are. We're going to modify the room in the world. Well, not for inspect we won't, but we will for trigger, so it needs to work the same way for both. Okay, well, we know what's causing that issue, and it's going to continue causing it. What other commands do we have available? Well, we just tried take. Let's try go south. Okay, I'm in a square room with a large B painted on its concrete floor. There's an exit to the east. East. Interactions. An ordinary and incandescent light bulb. The filament looks undamaged. I don't know why it says an ordinary in front of all of it, but whatever. A light switch on the east wall. Okay. This is fine. Go east. There's no way to push the button. There's no way to trigger the button. You just type in trigger button. But this is going to cause the game to end. Boom, like that. Let's run it again. Let's try quit. That's the one thing we haven't done yet. Okay, everything seems to work okay. Oh, we haven't tried dropping stuff. So let's try again. Cargo run. Take stapler. Go south. Drop stapler. You drop the stapler. Okay, it looks like it works, but again, it's not showing up. The state's not showing up. Implement show inventory command to show player inventory. Cohesive use of summarize. Man, I'm excited with this. So you can see here our game is kind of starting to take place. Starting to come together a little bit, but man, there's just so much left to do just to get it past that last little bit. But I think we've made good progress. Yeah. So this is exciting. All right. Well, I guess I'll catch you all